All right. So my name is Mohammed Ummi. I'm the director of English for Africa. And here we go. So this is me. Um, 30 years of experience in ELT, international experience. So I've worked in Morocco for the past 5 years approximately. But before that, I trained teachers in Singapore and in Hong Kong, Western Europe and North America. And I've taught English or trained teachers in several other, well, many other countries actually, around the world. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been a CELTA trainer since 2013. Um, as part of this company, English for Africa, and as part of other companies, I've trained up CELTA trainers as well. My specialty is in TEFL and in business English, as well as CLIL. And today I'm a nice guy. Usually I'm a nice guy. It's a good day. Alhamdulillah. And this is my company. I founded English for Africa in 2019, towards the end of that year. We're located in Meknes. We've been doing CELTA courses since 2020, and so far we have helped over 200 people obtain their CELTA certificate. Of those more than 200 people, the majority have been Moroccans, but of course we've trained people from all around the world, including Mauritania, Oman, Egypt, Italy, France, the UK, and China, as well as North America. We've been doing Delta training since 2022, and we also run courses in how to teach IELTS and in training the trainer. So that is not specifically what gathers us here today. What gathers us here today is continued professional development, or CPD. And I guess the first question we need to ask ourselves is, why? Is it important? And what is it for? For some of us who have been involved in continued professional development, it's really important. And you know it when you've taken courses and you've benefited from good courses. But for those of us who haven't, let's just go through some of the benefits of continued professional development. First is improved job opportunities. This is what's on most people's mind when they think of continued professional development. They're like, oh, I'm going to get a better salary. I'm going to get better management opportunities. But that's not all there is to it. One of the things that I think we can all agree on if we've been teaching is that teaching is a solitary profession. And this is part of the reason why I'm so happy to see all of you here today. This is a good number for a webinar. So there are over 40 of us here present. Alhamdulillah, it's very nice. But it is solitary because you're in the classroom and you're teaching your students. So you're not alone, right? You're with your students, fine. But you're not with your colleagues most of the time. Just about 80, 90% of the day of a typical teacher is spent without their colleagues. Professional development is your opportunity to connect with your colleagues. And by connecting with your colleagues, seeing what they do, them seeing what you do, is an opportunity to build your own self-esteem as a teacher. And in that way, we can break the isolation that we are de facto in as teachers of English as a foreign language. And I say teachers of English as a foreign language specifically because there are other contexts where there is more contact with other teachers. Yeah. If you're in a K to 12 school, and some of us are, you already have a little bit more contact with other teachers. But a lot of TEFL takes place in language centers where we are expected to show up, teach our lessons, and go home. So continued professional development, one of the really amazing benefits is breaking that isolation, letting us know that we're not alone, and fighting the disorientation that can come when we don't know what to do, right? When you face a new situation, something that you haven't encountered before, you don't know what to do. And of course, your students are going to feel it, but you also feel it as well. And that has a knock-on effect on your self-esteem. And finally, from my perspective, the most important reason we do CPD is to teach better. I have said this quite often. I like teachers in general. You guys are cool. You're great people. But the fact is, I like your students more. And I'm really interested in the well-being of our students. By going through CPD, we are looking out for our students. We're making the outcomes better for them. We're making them happier. And by making them happier, we are making ourselves happier as well. And you know what makes me happy is tea. So I'm going to take another sip before I continue. Okay. And now for the challenges. So the first challenge is most teachers don't know what their options are. We're drowning in acronyms. And so I'm going to take a few seconds now. You can ask me about this later on during the question answer session. A few seconds just to talk about, to help you see more clearly with regards to these acronyms. TEFL, TESOL, CELTA, Delta, etc. And we'll start with TEFL. Okay, challenge. Can anyone type in the chat box what TEFL stands for? Go ahead. Ah, I see some people. Yeah, teaching English as a foreign language. Well done, Ihsan. Well done. That's correct. Well done, Hasna. Well done, Samsung. You all know it. Okay, you can stop. You know it. Good job. Well done. Teaching English as a foreign language. Um, so let me ask you this. This is a more difficult question. Is CELTA a TEFL course or not? Let's see if you can answer that question. Is CELTA a TEFL course? No, says yes, it is. The first step, yes, it is. Badia, yes. I don't think so, says Ahmed. All right, okay, you can stop typing. Um, you're staying with me. I'm glad to see that. So, CELTA is a TEFL course. Why? TEFL stands for any course in which you learn how to teach English as a foreign language. So that's CELTA, that's Delta, and that's any number of courses. Just call themselves TEFL course, right? TEFL course in communicative language teaching, for example. And there are thousands, hundreds, and possibly thousands of TEFL courses available worldwide, many of them online. So then what is TESOL? To your keyboards, can anyone type in what they think TESOL stands for? Yeah, you guys are good. You're really good. Teaching English to speakers of other languages. Is there a difference between TEFL and TESOL? Or let me ask it differently. Is TESOL a category of TEFL, or is TEFL a category of TESOL? Um, that you're asking how you can record? Don't worry, I'm recording this and I'll share it with you afterwards. Abdulatif says TESOL is a category of TEFL. Abdulatif, I want you on your team, on my team, on our team, because that's the correct answer. Yeah. Speakers of other languages, that's people in both. No, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. Teachers teaching English to speakers of other languages, that includes people who live in countries where English is the dominant language. So you can immigrate to the United States or Australia, and you'll take a course in TESOL. You will not take a course in TEFL because in the United States, English is not a foreign language. We consider you to be a TEFL teacher or either a an EFL teacher if you were teaching English in a place where English is not the dominant language, i.e. in Morocco. So what is CELTA then? CELTA is a TEFL course. It can be a TESOL course, depending on the context. People do take the CELTA course and use the CELTA course in the UK and other countries where English is a dominant language. CELTA is different from other courses in that it is a certificate which is delivered by one of the biggest and most important English language universities in the world, which is Cambridge University. It is an expensive course. It is a very high quality course. It is a course for both teachers who have experience teaching English. I've trained teachers on the CELTA with over 20, sometimes 30 years of experience teaching English as a foreign language. But it's also a course for people who have never taught before in their lives. It's a challenging course, and it's a really good course. If you can take it, you should take it. Yeah. So what's special about CELTA is the prestige of the CELTA, the quality, and the fact that it has earned its place as the gold standard of EFL training worldwide. And if your next question is, so then what's the delta? All right, who knows what delta stands for? If you know what delta stands for, I'm going to give you a prize. Honest, I am. Honest, I will give you a prize. Can anyone tell me what delta stands for? Let's see what we got. No, that's CELTA. CELTA is Certificate in English Language Teaching. Asma, Diploma in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. You're so close. Not Diploma of English. Yes, Samsung, you got it. It is a diploma in English language teaching to adults. That said, you can do your Delta teaching adults, or you can do it teaching young learners. It's a bit confusing, but that's okay. We'll forgive them. They are Cambridge. They do lots of things really well. So CELTA and Delta, they're both Cambridge qualifications, but they're at different levels. CELTA is at the certificate level. The diploma level is higher. So here we've kind of clarified a bit what's out there. What are the possibilities in terms of the acronyms? But there's another problem, which is that even though we may know what's out there now, we don't know if they're any good, right? So we've got lots of different types of organizations offering training to teachers of English as a foreign language. A lot of the training in Morocco is done by publishing houses, or rather distributors of publishing houses as well. So Oxford University Press, for example, they train teachers in Morocco, often for free. But also distributors such as Calliope or Brookland train teachers in Morocco. You also have a lot of training provided by online TEFL courses. Before we go any further, there are some online TEFL courses which are good. CELTA is one of them. The CELTA can be taken fully online. Word of warning, most of them are just a piece of paper. You go onto a platform, you read some documents, you tick some boxes, and you learn. Let me warn you against this, guys. Can anyone here juggle? Just tell me if you can juggle. Anybody, any jugglers out there? So there's a reason I'm asking this. It's connected. I'm not changing the subject. Juggling, if I said to you, here, take this book, read it, and then come back in a few days and juggle for me, do you think you'll be able to do it? No, you won't. Doesn't mean that you necessarily need a teacher to juggle, but what you do need is practice. And teaching combines a lot of theory with practice. If you don't practice teaching, get feedback from your trainers on your teaching, and practice again using that feedback and get feedback again and practice again. So this is what we call experiential learning. If that isn't an integral part of your training, you're missing something major in your continued professional development. And the overwhelming majority of TEFL courses online, and for that matter, face-to-face as well, but right now we're talking about online TEFL courses, they don't include that. And my advice to you is that if you're going to get trained as a teacher, get trained to teach. Don't get trained to understand what teaching is. Yeah? If you understand what teaching is, that's great. It does not mean you can teach. And I have interviewed as a language center manager dozens, if not hundreds of teachers who can talk the talk. You know, they'll tell you, yeah, communicative language teaching, it's this, it's that, student at the center. We give the priority to the student talks, the teacher doesn't talk. Then you watch them teach, it's as if they have no idea what that means. And um, don't take this personally, but this might include some of you practicing teachers too. Because part of the problem is that you don't even realize what you're doing. And we're going to get to that next. It's called self-reflection. We think as teachers that we're putting students at the center of the classroom. I started taking Spanish lessons a few days ago in a classroom. It's the first time that I stepped into the classroom as a learner of a foreign language in several years. And I was amazed at my colleagues, my classmates rather, who were, they were like really trying hard. I don't think they realized just how bad the teaching was. And the teacher didn't realize it either. So you don't know until you get that training. And in particular, until you get teachers, trained trainers to watch you teach and tell you how to improve. So online TEFL courses, there are a couple of good that are good. Most of them all, maybe not so good. Um, Next is the fact that trainers are often untrained. They're not particularly skilled. They have a qualification perhaps in teaching English, and they think they can train other teachers. Sometimes that's the case. Very often it's not. Another big problem is that the training is often not really adapted to what we need to know about in order to do our job well in the classroom. So part of it comes back to the theoretical training that I was talking about before. People telling you what teaching is supposed to be without either showing you what it's supposed to be, nor giving you the opportunity to practice doing it. So that's part of it, that it's a theory, but sometimes we have needs as teachers, right? Things that we don't know how to do. You'll go on a course that teaches you how to manage a classroom, but you don't know how to write a lesson plan. Or you know how to write a lesson plan, but you don't know how to clarify language. So very often when we do CPD, it's very piecemeal. You go on a short course, and either they give you a lot of general ideas about lots of different things, and it's not really worthwhile, or they give you little bits and pieces of things, and it's up to you to put them together somehow in the classroom. I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, those things go out the window. And they go out the window because, first of all, there's no feedback on your teaching practice. And second of all, when they teach you how to write on the board or without anything else, or they teach you how to teach a writing lesson, you don't know how to integrate that into the rest of your professional life as a teacher. Next problem is certificate inflation, which is basically the idea that a lot of us teachers, because of the proliferation of free and sometimes cheap courses out there, we think that by collecting certificates, we're going to become better teachers. And just as importantly, we think that by collecting certificates, we're going to fool employers into thinking we're good teachers. And sometimes it works, to be fair. Some employers are going to be like, oh yeah, lots of certificates, I'm going to hire you. Most of the time it doesn't work. And finally, there's lack of recognition. What I mean by that is maybe it's a good course, but how can I put this? Nobody's going to back up your claim. Um, Someone's asking for a meeting summary. Sure, I'll start the meeting summary. Why not? In other words, courses need to be accredited. And when we say accreditation, what we mean is some kind of body organization that includes professionals whose job it is to look at courses and say, this is a good course, and put their stamp on it. And that stamp will be recognized by employers, organizations, governments worldwide. Lots of bad news, right? But there's even more. Okay, so this is kind of, this is, in my opinion, the biggest problem with professional development, continued professional development. Not what's on offer. It's actually us, the teachers. And the problem I'm referring to is the fact that we don't know how to work on ourselves. We go to a course and we expect to be spoon-fed and taught things. It's fine. We're going to learn. We're going to be taught things. But what we really need in order to succeed on a professional development course is to know how to reflect on our own performance, to analyze our performance in the classroom and when planning lessons and when interacting with colleagues, to pick out what we're doing well and what we're not doing well, and to figure out for ourselves how to improve. That kind of empowerment is extraordinarily important because no matter how many courses you take, you're going to spend most of your life not on a course. And during that most of your life, you're going to want to continue developing yourself autonomously, independently, like an adult, right? Um, this is a habit that we need to maintain, but before it can become a habit, self-reflection needs to be taught. It's a skill. It's something that we need to be taught, and we need to get practice in it. It's not easy to look in the mirror and know how to see what's good and what's not. It's not a piece of cake, guys. And so professional development courses need to include a substantial portion which is devoted to helping you become reflective teachers. Um, like I said, I love teachers. You guys are great. But we're human beings and we need to improve ourselves. And the first step is recognizing that we have flaws as teachers. And second step is to recognize that it's our responsibility to figure out what our areas for improvement are. And that's where we come to the opportunities. And so tonight I'm going to talk to you about a course that I have designed specifically for Moroccan teachers of English as a foreign language. It's a course that is internationally accredited by an organization called CPD UK. I'm going to talk you through the course, and then I'm going to take your questions. Not just about this course, but about anything you want to ask me. Because I'm that kind of guy. I like to answer people's questions. So this TEFL course has a specific approach to teaching. That approach is the communicative language teaching methodology. There are three main components to communicative language teaching. It's learner-centeredness, which means putting the student at the center of the learning process. And that's not just a conviction. It's not something we want to do. It's something that we teach you to do. There are techniques. There are ways to plan your classroom, specific ways, frameworks, lesson planning frameworks that will put the student at the center. There are ways of managing your classroom using specific types of questioning techniques, knowing how to not answer your own questions. Yeah. These will help you put the learner at the center of the classroom and just help you to shut up, which is what we want to do, really. We want to be calm, nice, cool, and not talk. That's what we want to do as teachers. And this approach will help you to do that. Secondly, it's meaningful communication. In other words, whenever possible and as much as possible, students communicate with each other. And they communicate with each other in a personalized, authentic way. In other words, as people, they don't pretend to be students. They are themselves, because what we want is our students to take the language that they're learning in the classroom out of the classroom with them. And if they have to be a different person in the classroom than outside of the classroom, it's not going to work as well. And being the same person inside and outside of the classroom means, in one word, personalization. And communicative language teaching is all about personalizing the teaching, rather the learning experience for students by enabling them to communicate with their peers. Communicating with a teacher reduces personalization because of the difference in status between a teacher and a student. So if you think by talking to your student, you're personalizing, to a certain extent, maybe, but if you really want to personalize interactions, you have students talk to each other. Then they're going to have an authentic self interaction where they're expressing themselves in a foreign language, and that's what we want. So that's the second thing. Third of all, focus on form. Communicative language teaching is not only about fluency, it's also about accuracy, and so there is a focus on form in communicative language teaching. These are the components of our TEFL course. We'll go through them one by one. First of all, entirely face-to-face course. I could have created an online course, had a much bigger market, but I know that people in Morocco, feel much more comfortable taking face-to-face courses. And so I'm coming towards you. I'm taking that step towards you to help you feel comfortable and encourage you to come onto our course. So I'll let you read through those components first. And we'll start with guided lesson observations. So a guided lesson observation is where you and your trainer are in a classroom being taught by another trainer. Excuse me. And you watch them teach. And then you have a debrief session where you talk about that lesson. You take away the positive elements of that lesson. You talk about what could have gone better, and you can even rehearse parts of that lesson as they happened or while improving what happened in that lesson. This is extraordinarily important because one of the things that we lack as teachers, and I mentioned this before, is the opportunity to interact with other teachers. We don't get to watch other teachers teach enough. And so in this course, you will get to watch other teachers teach, professionals. But in addition to that, you're going to actively break down those lessons so you can learn techniques from those lessons. Also, you're going to be watching real life lessons with real students. You're going to see real life problems come up and how the teacher deals with them, and decide as a group with your trainer whether that's the best way or if there are other ways to deal with those problems. Next is input sessions. So input sessions are where you're in the classroom with your trainer and you're learning like a student. The input sessions are broken down to 3 different stages: classroom management, language clarification, lesson planning. We do this in this order because we believe in a scaffolded approach. Of course, teaching includes all of these things, yeah? But we take them one step at a time. Because, as you know, if you're teaching a language, what works really well is to take things one at a time. You don't teach a student the whole language at once. We have aims for each lesson, so we're taking this in stages. In addition to these 3 aspects of teaching, these are the foundation. We'll also go into aspects of teaching related to, as I mentioned, professional development and teaching in different contexts, such as teaching business English and teaching young learners. And then there's the teaching practice. This is what I mentioned before, and which I believe is key to training any teacher. There's no training of teachers if they don't get the chance to make huge mistakes, teaching real students, and have those mistakes pointed out to them, but also make small mistakes and take that opportunity to learn from them. And also sometimes do things really well, and we can learn from that as well, right? Good. So we have two types of teaching practice on this course. We have micro teaching, which is where you teach the other people on the course, other people being the other teachers, the candidates on the course. So while teaching them, you practice classroom management skills, language clarification skills, right? But at the same time, you're being supported. You're not being thrown in at the deep end with students immediately. Your fellow candidates will give you feedback, and your trainer will give you feedback as well. So it's very collegial. We all work together, we watch each other teach, and we communally give feedback to the teachers. The written feedback, though, comes from your trainer with specific areas of improvement and, very important, of course, things that you did well and we want you to continue doing. Then there's teaching practice with real students. Um, Real students, so people who need to learn the language, who are authentically challenging you to teach them. And you get written feedback on those lessons as well. And then there's reflective practice. So from the beginning of the course, you were asked to keep a reflective journal. In the reflective journal, you were asked specific questions that are going to help you reflect on yourself as a teacher. So you can understand what it means to be a reflective teacher. And so on the course, not after the course, on the course, you get practice reflecting as a teacher. You get practice getting to know yourself as a teacher lucidly, with clairvoyance, based on principles, and based on feedback from your trainer and from your colleagues. Through reflective practice, you will take control of your own professional development. This is a 120-hour certificate course. That means that you will be able to use this certificate to teach in many different places in the world, because the minimum requirement in most parts of Asia, but also other countries, is a 120-hour certificate. We could have given you a 60-hour certificate with a bit less content and a bit cheaper. The 120-hour certificate is to open doors for you in Morocco and worldwide. And as I said, is accredited by CPD UK. CPD UK is an organization that's been around for more than half of my age. Do you know how old I am now? Right. So it's been around for a while. It deals with hundreds of different clients worldwide, and it has accredited over 35,000 courses and events over the past 27 years. I'm familiar with CPD because I've taken CPD courses, and in order to be CPD qualified, or rather attested, you need to have a high quality course. And this is exactly the accreditation that this course will have. So it's 120 hours long. It's a part-time course. Because most people who take CPD courses in Morocco are teachers, the course is designed to enable people who are practicing teachers rather, to attend the course. If you're a student, you can attend the course too, because you will be learning in the evenings or on the weekend. We are offering this course in 3 different cities. Who can say which cities we're offering the course in? Go ahead in the chat box. Who knows? Let's see. Meknes, Casablanca. Abdelatif, you are a star. Not Marrakesh, I'm sorry. Miriam, it was going to be in Fez, but it's in Meknes now. That's right, it's in Meknes, Casablanca, and Rabat. These are the 3 cities in which we are offering this course. And each of these cities, we're working with a partner. So Meknes, the partner is us, English for Africa. We have our own center. Um, in Rabat, we're working with Bridges, and in Casablanca, we're working with British Workshop. And they are designing a schedule which will be suitable for you guys to take part in the course. As I said, it's a course for practicing teachers who are looking for an international certificate, want to compete on the job market, not sure of your skills, and for students who are in higher education. Most of all, it's for teachers who care about their students. That's what who this course is for. Um, the minimum requirement is for you to have a baccalaureate certificate diploma. You don't have to have anything higher than a baccalaureate, and you must have at least a B2 level in English. I'd love to take people with lower levels, but you'll have a hard time meeting the course requirements if you don't have at least a B2 level. And I'm done talking for now until you come up with questions. All right. Thank you everybody for being here. It was great to have you chat in the chat box. I'll send you the recording later, Sarah. Sukaina, why not Marrakesh? We don't have a partner in Marrakesh. If we did, we would then try to recruit trainers. We don't have trainers in Marrakesh, but there are people in Marrakesh who I would like to train as trainers. I think you guys know who you are if you're watching this, right? So all you need to do is get us a training center to let us use their premises as a partner, and we'll run a course in Marrakesh. But that goes for other cities all around Morocco. You're welcome, Hussein. Now is the fun part. Oh, insightful presentation. The fun part is where you get to compliment me on my presentation. No, the fun part is where you get to ask me questions about the presentation. So please, if you have questions, I'm very happy to answer them for you. Sarah, no, the courses are not necessarily only on the weekend. They are also weekdays as well. In the evening. It's going to depend on the city that you're in. Yes, we're going to have this course running in Meknes. The CELTA does not have an expiration date. The CELTA is, you have until you die, basically. Oh, very important. The cost of our TEFL course, I'm going to type it in the chat box. It's awesome news. It's 5,000 dirhams plus VAT. 5,000 dirhams plus VAT. Okay. Next questions. What about TESOL? Like I said, TESOL is a category of TEFL. It's TEFL when you're teaching English in another country where English is a dominant language. Yeah, you can have a certificate for this. Just write to us, and I'll make sure you get a certificate for attending the webinar. Shema, how can teachers effectively provide feedback on professional development programs to ensure they meet their needs? That's a great question. It has to be built into the professional development program. The professional development program has to seek out feedback from the teachers that they're teaching, that they're training rather. That's something that we obviously will do at the end of the course. You will be invited to fill in a form giving us feedback on our course so that we can do it better the next time. Imad is asking about ESP training. I'm going to be launching a CPD accredited course in teaching business English, inshallah, during this year. How many days can you attend the course in Meknes? The course in Meknes will be on the weekends, I believe. Contact our center in Meknes. By the way, I can give you the contact information. Where can I apply for the certificate? Says Sarah. And when is the course going to be available in FES? I don't know when it's going to be available in FES. I'm going to type into the chat box now the email address that you should contact in order to get the training in order to apply to be on the TEFL course. So I'm going to give you the email address of British Workshop first. Here it is. And then I'm going to give you the email address of our Meknes Center, manager at englishforafrica.net. And then for Rabat, give me a second, I'll find it for you. Um, I need to, let's see, contact. And actually for bridges, I'm going to give you a telephone number, which is a WhatsApp number. And they are in,
Hello, sorry,
the
Mohammed.
person's name is Iman. Yes,
Uh, the
Sheena,
message you
go
send
ahead.
here, is sending it as a private message or to everyone because it's not appearing on the chat box here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for letting me know.
You're
I've
welcome.
been saying all these messages oh, to Shema. Shema, I'm going to share. Okay. So this is the number, the contact of Iman, in Bridges. Oops, I did it again. And this is the contact of, um, our center in Meknes. And if you are going to take the course in Casablanca, you need to contact British Workshop using this email address. Okay. Let me go back to the questions. Will there be any real-time teaching opportunities? Meaning, is there theory and practice? No, 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 not just theory, not just theory. No, no, no. Practice, practice. Yes, we do. You have at least 2 hours of teaching practice on this course, at least with feedback. Um, and we give you really important feedback. I have trained the trainers on this course to give feedback. Um, Are there any courses for teachers who want to work exclusively online? I tell you what, take this online CELTA course with us. And we specifically teach you techniques for teaching online. Um, Abdulatif, how many students at least do you need to start giving lessons of the TEFL program in Agadir? Um, 6. I need to have 6 candidates at the very least. And I also need to have a trainer there, because these are part-time courses, and I'll need to train the trainer because I'm not going to let just anybody work on this course. I need to know that they've been trained to the standards that I require of my TEFL courses. Is this course beneficial for teachers? Sukaina, yes. Yeah. I mean, I care about teachers, and this is why I created this course, is to help you guys do a better job. Sarah, so we prepare a course and then you present it ahead of other candidates. The way it works, Sarah, is you plan your lesson, you teach your lesson to either your colleagues or real students, and then you get feedback from your trainer and from your colleagues on what you have taught. Um, Madhkur, I've just taken a TESOL course, but felt I have not benefited as expected. Madhkur, it's not surprising, man. I'm really sorry, but it's not. Most TEFL courses are not worth their grain of salt. And the reason why is that people are willing to pay for them, even though because they don't know. Um, so when you're choosing a TEFL course, choose one, or TESOL course, choose one that is accredited. Choose one that is run by a company that you know and trust. By the way, Sheena, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
So I want to introduce Sheena. Sheena is going to be our trainer in Meknes. Sheena, would you like to say a few words about yourself, and about the course in Meknes, please?
Okay, thank you. My name is Sheena, and I've been teaching for a number of years. And I also have my CELTA qualification with my tutor here, Mohammed. The course in Meknes is going to start by February. That's February 1st, very close now. And it's going to be on weekends. You have the opportunity of meeting with other teacher trainees, and you have opportunity of teaching rich students in the class. You're going to have your feedback. While teaching, you have to reflect on your teaching and know what you're doing. You have to be sure of the plans, and you have to have a reason for doing all those things. It's not something difficult, but with practice and encouragement and support, I think you're going to become a better teacher. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sheena. I've scrolled back up to see um, a compliment. Thank you for sharing such insightful information. But that's not important. What's important is Shema's question, which I'll read to you. How can teachers in rural or underprivileged areas access quality professional development resources? How can Moroccan teachers effectively integrate technology while addressing a digital divide? I'll answer the second question first. I don't think it's possible teaching in rural Morocco to integrate technology. Straight up, it's probably not possible because of the lack of resources. Now, this isn't like all rural Morocco. There are parts of rural Morocco where resources are available. If you're in rural Morocco, concentrate on teaching the language without online resources. Okay. Um, when I do the face-to-face CELTA, no electronic whiteboards, no integration of technology into the classroom, because I want you to know how to teach people in the classroom first before we integrate any technology into it. Um, okay. Let's see. Other questions. Is a face-to-face CELTA course more valuable than an online one? Um, for some people, yes, but the fact is, when it comes to the feedback that I've received from teachers that we've trained, the feedback is the same. They say at the end of an online course and at the end of a face-to-face course, I didn't know how to teach before. My teaching has been transformed. Thank you. And they say, you have such nice hair, Mohammed. That's not, I'm just joking. They don't say that. Um, Yeah, so they're both very valuable and very useful, online or face to face. If you know that you're only ever going to teach online, don't take the face to face course. And if you know that you'll never teach online, don't take the online course, right? But aside from that, it's just a question of logistics, which course is easier for you to take. We don't have a center in Agadir, but we might have a partner to run the course in Agadir, in which case we'll just need the candidates and the trainers. By the way, if you want me to run a CELTA course in Agadir, I just need 4 candidates. If you have 4 people in Agadir who will say, "Well, we want a CELTA course here," I'll find a way to go there or to any city in Morocco, and I will run a CELTA course for you with only 4 candidates. Um, According to me, what is the best course for English language teachers working in Morocco? Gosh. I would have to say the CELTA course. That's the best one. The problem with the CELTA course is that it's expensive. And it's not expensive because I want to get rich. Um, I actually don't even care about it. Yeah, no, it's not it at all. It's because CELTA charges a lot of money for us to be able to run their course, and because there are very few CELTA trainers in the world, and consequently, we have to pay pretty high prices for our CELTA trainers. Hussein would like to have my telephone number. Yeah, okay, I'll give you my telephone number. Yeah. So please only use WhatsApp when calling me because I'm very often abroad. Uh, what is it? 680, 0, and this is my number. Um, Abdul Latif wants to take the CELTA course in Agadir. Yeah, no, take the CELTA course in Agadir is fine. I'll come do it for you. Find 3 other people and I'll be there, okay? 3 other people who are available to take the course in Agadir and I'll do it for you. Do you advise me to take a TESOL course? I advise you to take the TEFL course with us. It's high quality, internationally recognized, and not expensive. 5,000 dirhams plus VAT. Certificates of attendance, please contact me, or rather contact my manager at englishforafrica.net, and will get you a certificate of attendance. The CELTA course, it depends on where you take the course and when. I'm going to give you the URL for our webpage on the CELTA course. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Why am I only writing messages to Shema? And here's my number, which again, I only wrote to Shema for some reason. Nothing against you, Shema. You're probably a lovely person. That's my number to everybody. Yes, okay. Here is the person to contact if you want a certificate. Write an email to this email, okay? For attendance certificates. Okay. My God, are there still 56 of you there? Just for these questions and answers. Oh, I feel flattered. That's really nice. Yeah, so there's the email I just sent to you for attendance certificates, okay? How many hours on the weekend, says Sarah. Sheena, can you answer that question? How many hours on the weekend?
Okay. For Saturdays, it's gonna be 3.5 hours, and on Sunday it's gonna be 9 hours, including breaks.
Thank you, Sheena.
Yeah, good.
Shema wants to know if there are specific international collaborations or exchange programs that Moroccan teachers can benefit from. I don't know any that I can recommend personally, unfortunately. Sorry about that. You have a plan, Nadia, to teach English in France and the Netherlands? Get a CELTA if that's your plan. Yeah, because those are very competitive markets for teachers of English as a foreign language. If you have a CELTA, you stand a good chance. Without a CELTA, you're going to be drowned out. Even if you're a good teacher, it's going to be tough. How could CELTA and TEFL help to apply a job? Put the CELTA or the TEFL on your resume. That's how it works. And they'll see it and they'll be like, oh, he's better than the other guys who are applying without a CELTA and without a TEFL, and we're expecting me to employ them as a teacher of English as a foreign language. TEFL certificates will help you, Samsung, to teach abroad. There's no guaranteed procedure for finding work in life, unless if your brother-in-law owns the company or something like that. But these certificates will help. And getting a certificate that is attested by CPD UK or some other international body, and equally importantly, which is run by a CELTA center. So we are a CELTA center, we are a teaching qualifications center. And when they look up English for Africa, your potential employers, they will see that you were getting training from a teaching qualifications center, and that also means something. Abdulatif, let Mr. Hussein contact me to manage a deal because we both are from Agadir and we want to take the CELTA course, so we still need 2 more candidates. Very cool. So Hussein, write to Abdulatif. Abdulatif, you can write a direct message to Hussein here on Zoom, and you can exchange contact information with each other. Sana, you can do the same. Can you please rewrite the web page from which we can get, it's not a web page, it's an email address. Here it is, manager@englishforafrica.net. You applied for a CELTA with British Council. I was not selected. Oh, man. Was that British Council in Casablanca? Um, like, I'm not going to say anything bad about the competition. It's not cool. It's not elegant. My advice is apply to take a CELTA with us, because if you apply to take a CELTA with some centers, you'll get feedback on why you weren't accepted, and you'll get advice on what you need to do in order to get accepted next time onto the next course. So that's what I do systematically. I don't just say, gone, bye, ciao. No. If you take the time to go through the application process and to go to the interview, I'll let you know if you're not accepted. I'll let you know what you need to do in order to get accepted into the future. I'll help you come up with an action plan and I'll support you in implementing it. To answer your second question, though, um, so first of all, how can I prepare myself? Don't prepare yourself. Don't. I mean, study the language, right? That's very important. Get good at the language. If you have the opportunity to interact with other teachers, that's fine. But the minimum requirements for a CELTA, very simply, are to have a high C1 level in English, to have the time, the energy, and availability to take the course, to have a high school diploma minimum, and to be at least 18 years of age. That's it. If you meet those requirements, you're on the course. Where can you study CELTA online? In SAF with us, with English for Africa. I sent you the link to our webpage. I'll send it again. And somehow I'm defaulting to sending to Shema, but I'll send it to everybody. Here it is, our webpage. So you can take oh, thank you, Sheena, for that. So you can, if you want to take the CELTA online with us. What can you say to those who are planning to take the CELTA course and afraid of the interview? Guys, are you going to, honestly, am I frightening? Are you afraid of me? Look at this face. Oh, God, that is frightening, actually. How about this face? I'm not frightening. Don't be afraid. I'm a teacher. I'm a trainer. I'm not here to make people feel bad. Come to the interview. Either it works out. If it doesn't, I'll tell you what to do next. And that's it. No loss, no cost. It's all good. And we get to have some time together. All right. Miriam says, please, can you research it? I think we were talking about the web page. All right. Other questions? Other questions? Would you like me to keep talking? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't reply to you, Hussein, about what? I'm sorry. No, I did answer. I said, don't prepare anything, Hussein, Abdulatif. Abdulatif. Um, yeah, Abdulatif, don't prepare anything. Study English, get good at English, and you should be accepted onto the course. Um, Hussein, the horizons, I'm not sure what you mean by the horizons. I'm sorry. So if you could give one piece of advice to teachers, what would it be? My one piece of advice to teachers is, gosh, one piece, that's so difficult. God. Um, one piece. It's just only one piece of advice. Damn. Don't stop trying to be a better teacher. I guess that's if I had don't stop trying to be a better teacher. I have never stopped trying to be a better teacher. Nobody should. If this is a job with high responsibility, high stakes, so we owe it to ourselves and our students. Okay, more questions. Um, Yes, Nadia, there's a face-to-face course in Meknes, which starts at the end of July. It's an intensive course, 4-week course from the end of July to the end of August. Hussein says horizons of having a CELTA. I'm not sure what you mean by the horizons of having a CELTA. Sukaina, how can we study English? Look, if you really want to take the CELTA course, for example, at English for Africa, it's kind of a tradition now. People who feel that they don't quite have the English level they need, we give you classes and Sheena has done this, by the way, that will help you improve your English while simultaneously giving you training in communicative language teaching. Um, so that's one, if you know that you want to take a CELTA course or you come to us, we'll give you one-on-one training online to do this. Other ways to study English, man, there's so many. Um, Go to a language center, really. They work, you know. If you get a good teacher, if you're lucky and you get a good teacher, that's going to do the trick. Miriam says the difference in cost between online and face-to-face CELTA. So here it is again, the link to our page for the CELTA course. The reason I'm not answering you directly, Miriam, is because the price is going to depend on where you're taking the course and when. But very quickly, the price for the fully online course is 14,500 dirhams. So we now take so that's in British pounds, rather, we transform the price of British. Anyway, it's 14,500 dirhams for the fully online course, and either 17,000 dirhams in Meknes or 19,000 dirhams in Casablanca for the face-to-face course. What about new teacher? We have a fully online course beginning at the beginning of April, and it will run until the middle of July, Nadia. So if that will work for you, that timetable will work for you, then you should go for it. For candidates in Agadir, so Abdulatif, the way it works is if you have 4 candidates, that's the minimum for any CELTA course. It's going to be a mixed mode course. It's going to be a course where half of the course is online. That part of the course is part-time. So I have a lot of time so at least 6 weeks of online training. You go through the Moodle, you do teaching practice, etc. And then for the face-to-face part of the course, it will be intensive. I will come to Agadir to do that part of the course, inshallah. To be selected as a trainer, as a teacher trainer, the prerequisite is to contact me and we'll discuss it. You have my number. Have I ever been in the public sector? Um, Kind of, yeah. So I've trained teachers in the public sector in Singapore. I've taught part-time in the public sector in France and just in France, actually. Um, and do I prefer teaching high school or middle school? I don't have any preference. I like both, actually. Um, and any other questions? I hope I didn't miss opportunities for having a job. I think, ah, so if you have a CELTA, so Hussein, this is your question. How does that help you get a job? Let me put it this way. I know lots of teaching language center managers. When they receive resumes, the first thing they look for is CELTA. And if it says CELTA, it goes to on the top of the pile. They're the people they call first for interviews. So that's how it works. It's not going to get you a job on its own, but it will definitely get you a lot further than anything else. Thank you, Suad. Very reflective. Okay. All right. Other questions? We do have one. When is going to take place in Agadir? After the winter? No. Okay. So if you want a course in Agadir, I'll tell you what. Um, find 4 candidates who will take part in, so the public holidays in Agadir for school teachers towards the end of May, I think. So I need to have 4 candidates by the end of February. so we can start a part-time course online. Sorry, so we can start the online part of the course in time for me to come to Agadir to train you on the face-to-face part of the course during school holidays in May. You're welcome for my time, Siham. Bye. Good night. Okay, guys. Thank you for coming. I had fun. Bye, Insaf. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Shema. You're welcome, Idrisi. You're welcome. You're welcome a million. Bye-bye, Hassan. Looking forward to hearing from you, Abdulatif. Have a great night. You're welcome, Hassania. Bye-bye, Navarro. You're welcome, Iguanarin. Iguanarin? You're welcome. Sure, you're welcome, Esma. Have a great evening, Ahmed. You're welcome. Profusely, Mario. Thank you. Uh, no problem, Karima. My pleasure. You too, Chuhaimi Mohammed. Have a great night. You're welcome, Abdul. My pleasure. All right. Sheena, are you still there?
Yes,
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. It's nice to have the
you're
support. I
welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to close the Zoom room, guys. I'm going to assume that if you're here, it's just because you're hanging out. I'll let you get back to your evenings, and I'm looking forward to training you maybe someday, or else just being in contact somehow. You're welcome, Malik. All right. Bye. Cheers. Take care.